the work that we do with the Akashic Records is I teach people how to open the Akashic Records, and I also have teachers who teach. And we have a very unique system that the guides told me to use. And I was sitting in a car waiting for my host to go to dinner, and she stopped at a construction site and said, I just need to check some stuff here. Do you mind waiting in the car? And I said, no, I'll take a nap. And then in the nap, I had a lucid experience, and when I woke up, I was told to call an astrologer that I knew in that same city. And she wasn't home, so I left a message, and she called me back the next day. And I said, so are you going to update my chart? And she said, no. I asked my guides. She said, first of all, you have to know I don't do messages for people. But I asked my guides if I should update your charts, and she made the phone call and said that I was supposed to tell you something. And they said, no, we have a message for her. And that's the exact same words they gave to me. She has a message for you. And the message was that I was being given access to a dimension that had been closed to humanity for millions of years. Eons is what they used, the word used. And at the time, I did not know they were referring to the Akashic Records. So I started working with this material and began teaching. And one day, when I was a little more in my personality, I asked, so, was I the only one given access? And my guide said, no, but you will be a way shower. And so I'm laughing at myself. We all have these moments where we think, oh, I'm really special. And I want you to know that if you're here, you're really special. And I am grateful you are here. Thank you. Okay, so first I'm going to give you some little bombs to contemplate and take into meditation. And then we're going to give you some tools. So the bombs are, first one is, the great central sun is the source of life in this reality. And it is the sun behind the sun. This being is also known as the dog star Sirius, and the true source of the energy of our sun. And I just had another aha. It's amazing. So our sun has already ascended and is waiting on us. And if you've had interesting sunrises or sunsets where you have anomalies and it looks like there's two suns or it's in the wrong place, that's why. That's why. So what happened to me is I discovered something as I was being given this information, and for me personally, I like to have some kind of validation. I think we all do when you get a download of information. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she is one of the most brilliant people I know. She's a healer and a naturopath and an acupuncturist, and she studied every medical tradition out there. And she tells me that her father was in a secret program building sun simulators. And this was right about the time that I was getting the same information. And she said he was heavily involved in the secret programs, but he did not bring his work home. But the last project he involved with before he retired was the construction of an artificial sun. So she said that she thought that it was for testing purposes. And he told her that it was 4 stories high. And since he had started his career as a wind tunnel engineer, she thought it was for testing things exposed to intense heat. That was her assumption. I thought something entirely different. Later, she tells me that she read the comments under a video and saw a reference to a patent on an artificial sun, 1971, right before her father retired. There may even be a Bausch patent. So this is a bomb. I'm not going to give you any conclusions. You're going to draw your own conclusions. But because you've seen some wacky stuff in the sky, if you're watching, you can watch and wonder. My conclusion is that we all know we're in a matrix, but we're in a really, there's a lot more artificial out there than we realize, a lot. Okay, the second thing I'm going to tell you is about this crop circle. You can see it was taken in 1991. 1991, that's a long time ago. And this crop circle appeared in England, creating the impression of a tetrahedron. The distance from the center of the formation to the outside is approximately 180 feet, so it's huge. So as you look at this, you can kind of imagine a tetrahedron if you allow your eyes to go a little fuzzy and allow the center point to be on top and these other pieces to come out. Now, they called this the fourth dimension. I did not see that. I saw all the dimensions, and I'll show you why. You know what? Well, I don't have a pointer with me, and there's no pointer here. I could use the laser that's in the car if you want to get it. So first I want to point you to the circle here with this line through it. Now, as you look at it in 2D, it just looks like a circle with a line to the center. But what you're really looking at is like a plate spinner, okay? The line is to take you to the center of the circle. Oh, you have a laser?
I'm asking.
Okay. So think about, somebody with a plate spinner, and the line is simply to take you to the center. The center of a circle is the most powerful place, and it has the most energy. So when you're in a room, if you want to be in the most powerful spot, you get in the center, which is interesting. And the peripheral also has a lot of good energy, but that's another story. So that's first dimension. First dimension is when you draw a boundary. You cannot create anything without a boundary. If you're in the void, how can you move? Because you don't know up from down. Okay? So this is first dimension, and this is the representation of it. It's the creation of a boundary. It is also the separation from all that is to whatever's in the circle. Thank you. Very good. Okay. All right. So here we have this. Okay. Now, second dimension is this sphere. This sphere says we've started to get movement. This is why you have curved lines, because it looks like a wheel that turns. But again, you're looking at a two-dimensional model of a real thing that is in all dimensions, or 3D, as you understand in English language. So it's still using the center, but these lines have now been replicated to produce a curve which implies motion. So first dimension is a point, okay? That's this point. Second dimension is the distance between 2 points. And we're seeing that here, and here, and here, and here. The distance from the center to each of these curved lines is the same. Okay? That's second dimension. We are living in 3 dimensions right now, some of us in 5. So when you're in 1 dimension, all you see is the point of existence, the self-awareness. But once you move into a place of a boundary, then what you get, did our battery go already? Once you get to a boundary, then you can start to create stuff within the boundary that is not all of everything. All right, so we're here. Third dimension, you may have seen as this spiral. Now, what you don't notice is that this comes off of the circle. So this piece is a quarter of a circle. This piece is a quarter of a circle. This piece is a quarter of a circle. And they are all in phi to each other. What does it mean to be in phi? It means that that's the golden mean, the golden ratio. I believe the golden ratio is source code for this reality. And if you start measuring your body, you find the golden ratio in the length from your fingertips to your wrist, or from your fingertips to your elbow. This would be phi, or this would be phi. Even on the face, if you mark from the chin to the third eye, and then from the third eye to the top of the forehead, if this is 1, this is 1.618, and this 1.618 is the golden mean, or the golden ratio, or phi. The ratio is important because it's not a number, it's a relationship. And those of you who know a little bit about mathematics, you can probably track with me when I say any whole number can be a rational number, but you cannot create an irrational number without a mommy and a daddy. You have to have two numbers to produce an irrational number, because it is the ratio or relationship between the short and the longer one. So, ladies, the next time a man calls you irrational, you can say thank you. Because irrational is how we change and grow. And to put it more succinctly, this is an inappropriate joke, but a man moves into an apartment and he gets everything the way he likes it. And a couple of years later, his sister comes in and says, "This looks the same as when you moved in." And he says, "Yeah, I like it that way." A woman has an apartment, she comes home with fresh flowers, puts it on the coffee table. Oh, the coffee table needs clearing off and dusting. So she does that, and then she's looking at the flowers, and she's in the store, and she sees a beautiful pillow. So she buys the pillow to put on the couch. And now everything looks really good. But then she's looking at the rug thinking, I should have a little throw rug here to pull the colors together, right? And the reason I'm saying this is to help you understand that an irrational number always goes on forever. So a common irrational number is 1/3. We know the next number. But an uncommon irrational number is phi, and it comes from the division of two numbers, two lengths that produce this so-called relationship. One of the most common ones you know of is the relationship called pi. And we use pi to figure out the circumference of a circle, 2 pi r. No matter what size the circle is, the relationship of pi stays the same. So this is an important concept. Now, I want to take this further, but I first want to tell you that I went into meditation and the Council of Nine came through, and they said, "We will talk to you about the magnanimous dimension. As indicated by us, we have urged you to bring in the energy of the combined integration of 3 dimensions. We know you are quite familiar with the energy of the 3rd dimension, its polarity, its divisiveness, its goodness, and yes, there is goodness in the 3rd dimension. 4th dimension is integrating now within each of you. You are beginning to tap into the depths of joy, presence, and love. 4th dimension is the portal through which you will magnify and transport yourself into 5th dimension. Because your world has been slow to catch up, we are now offering to you this combined quality of the nexus into the 5th dimension to reach each and every one of you, and we name it the magnanimous dimension. It is an energy of great integration, and it consists of knowing and understanding the perils and passions of 3rd, the passion of 4th, and the ecstasy of 5th, and distilling it into an exquisite elixir of magnanimousness." So now let's take this a little further. So here we have first dimension, your first awareness, 2nd awareness, your 3rd awareness, or 3rd dimension, and this is the 4th dimension, which is a portal. When people say to me, "Well, can you explain the dimensions or describe them?" one of the things I say about the fourth dimension, they ask, why are we skipping from third to fifth? And the answer is, the fourth dimension is a portal. And it is a portal that you go to get where you want to go. It is similar to third because it has polarity, but it has much faster movement. So when you're really angry, there's a lot of energy. When you're really depressed, there's a lot of energy to keep you down. And when you're really happy, there's a lot of energy to keep you there. And so the fourth dimension is a portal, like Grand Central Station, like an airport. Nobody goes to the airport to spend the night, unless they get stuck, which can happen to us. And that's what that is all about. And then we have the fifth dimension is the star tetrahedron, okay? So we have one side of the tetrahedron, and the star tetrahedron is the Merkaba. So this tetrahedron, you see these circles? Don't they remind you of a bullseye? And then think about the Stargate TV series. How did they go through the portal to get where they wanted to go? They had a tube that had these kind of lights. The thing that you start to realize is that all the TV stuff we're seeing, all the movies we're seeing, contain a lot of the truth to, I will say, to expose you to start thinking in those ways, but also because we are told there's an obligation. So the fifth dimension is the tetrahedron, and the tetrahedron is found all over the universe, and it's found on you. When you have a activated Merkaba, you've turned it on, but it's there whether you turn it on or not. Now this is a pendant, and Samuel Kiwas is here with a booth, I believe. He's on the roster, so I imagine he's here. And he's selling these pendants. So you can see, it's got the whole thing in here. So that's something you can buy. I haven't seen Samuel, but I imagine if he knows I'm here, you're going to hear about it.
First booth as you go in the vendor room.
Say it again.
He's at the first booth as you go in the vendor room on your right.
Okay, very good. What room is that?
That's the vendor in the upper.
Okay, very good.
Outdoor area.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's talk about the free will zone. Now we're moving into tools you can use. Thank you for telling me. Who was it that was speaking? I couldn't see your face. Oh, okay, very good. All right. So why are we here? And the answer is to expand the database. We already had everything. We decided we wanted more. How are we going to make more? We're already everything. And the answer is twofold. Number one, create a boundary. And number two, allow the opposite of all that is to exist. So the game of 3D has gone to the extreme, as you probably have figured out. And I no longer say good and bad. I say the God choice or the not God choice, because there's no energy on it. It's kind of like talking about a car that somebody else owned. First we used to call them used cars, and then we call them pre-owned cars. And now there's another word. I don't remember what it is. But it's a little bit like, your partner's ex-wife, or maybe it's his former wife, or you could call her his practice wife. And I'm doing that to make you laugh because it's important that we understand that everything we do is part of a much bigger game. And when you are filled with stress or in overwhelm, if you allow yourself to move through the portal, you'll start to laugh. And Nicole, who was here, we were talking about this in the car, and she was saying, normally these situations would really stress me out, on a camping trip with things getting way too late, way too long. Okay, so as I explained earlier, once you are in 5D, you can participate in the other layers. But in 3D, you're not in 5D. 3D is when you're filled with judgment, and filled with judgment about others. Some of you may have mastered not having judgment about others, but you might still be doing it on yourself. Or maybe you're not doing it on yourself anymore, but you're still doing it on others. And I have really good students that point it out to me all the time. Mostly because I'm calling them out. Now they're feeling like, okay, great. Now if we see it in Maureen, we're going to tell her, and I'll tell a funny story myself. Some guy drove his truck right up to the edge of the lower area and left all kinds of divots in this very soft ground, and now it's even harder to walk to get to the booth. And I have an opinion about that, which I don't need to share. So, one of the ways that you step into your power is you look at insults and receive it as a compliment. Now, this should happen naturally when you're in 5D, but sometimes you don't know how to get there. How do you get to 5D? You announce to yourself when you go to bed, I'm waking up in 5D. And then you might get up feeling, oh man, I got a headache or whatever. But the minute you sit up, boom, you're in 5D because you called it in last night. It's waiting for you. So try that, you will be amazed. Now, what happens when you get insulted when you're in 5D, you do not hear the insult. You do not hear the insult. So, when I have a family member who has a sharp tongue, when she saw me, she said something like, "You're the ice queen," and I just saw it as a compliment that she knew I was a queen in Egypt at one time. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking, what did she really mean? And I think now it's because nothing ruffled me, nothing upset me. But in that moment, I was in my bliss. It was many years ago, and my sister had been killed in a car crash, and she was very dear to us. She was kind of like the darling of the family. And we had promised that we would be at this family gathering 4 or 5 weeks after that. And we promised like a year in advance. There was all these plans made for this big celebration. So we were all together again. And I had done my work. I had canceled all my appointments and had canceled all of my classes so I could do proper grieving. And there is a tool that I created called Soul Retrieval Unify that will help you bring back your lost parts from any trauma, a job loss, a breakup, an accident, anything that gives you a trauma that literally throws part of who you are out. And that's so you can maintain your status as a living being. And that lost part is floating around. The Native Americans also have a tradition like this, talking about this. So I was in Hawaii when this tragedy occurred, and my mother happened to be living in Hawaii, so I was the bearer of the bad news, and we flew halfway around the world to get to where my sister lived in Paris, had lived. And in every place that I told the story, I lost a piece of myself. In those days, I didn't travel with my passport. And one of my sons had to go to my house and find the lockbox and pull the passport out, drive to another city where there could be a flight that would go directly to Houston. That flight attendant was going to carry my passport, was going to drop it at the club room, and nobody could find it. It was such a commotion to make all this come together so that I could go. And because nobody could find it, I was distraught, as you can imagine. And I said to the Ascended Master El Moria, who I work with very closely, okay, I let go. If it's not to be found, then I'm not to go. So be it. When I came out of the bathroom, they had it. When you put yourself in 5D, no matter what people say to you, you will not hear it as an insult. And I'm going to tell a joke on myself and say, all you have to do is pretend you're a blonde, because you can never insult a blonde. You know why? She only hears compliments. And again, that's to help you. Okay, today I'm only hearing compliments, so no matter what anybody says to me, I'm good. I'm good. And think of how much fun it is. Think of the last insult somebody made to you, either inadvertently or directly to, take you down a notch. If you were to smile and say thank you, that would so confuse them. And it would probably stop them in their tracks. You're no fun anymore. I can't, pull some loose out of you, so let me try somebody else. So this is where you decide, I'm in a new game. I'm not in the old game. There is an old game, that's called 3D. The new game is unconditional love. And when you make the decision to operate from this place of unconditional love, nothing matters. I mean, everything matters. You're proactive, you're involved in your life, but then you are detached. So it's attached detachment. It's a purposeful way to see and yourself. Those who would have you fail have altered the timelines. That's why we're trying to pull all the timelines back down so that we can make it into the fifth dimension without all the baggage. They have seeded envy, jealousy, and greed. Let me go back one thing to the timelines. The timelines are being collapsed. So if you have strange dreams, were you with the boyfriend or the husband that you're not with? That's you pulling one of those timelines back. And it's you allowing that experience to be okay. And not judging it, but just letting it be okay. I can see some people here have already had that experience. So this is why I was asked to, explain the altered timelines and what's going on. So you might have this happen in a meditation or a dream. They seeded envy, jealousy, and greed. And the way that worked was, my tribe is safe and secure. We've got everything covered. So then the neighboring tribes, one of their sons falls in love with my daughter. Not on my watch. And then that was seeded to be angry and jealous of that. And that created lust and greed to teach humans, to take them away from their goals. And then, of course, they also filled the world with toys to satisfy their lusts and cravings. I'll just refer to some of the illicit drugs that people have used, and then distracting us from our natural evolution because we were moving too fast. And the archons who were here, they are gone now, and other beings had an agenda to keep the earth for themselves, and so they tried to slow things down. They also tried to slow things down by turning off your self-healing gene. And that self-healing gene causes you to age and to not heal when stuff happens. And there is a way to turn it back on. And one of the ways is to use the bedtime prayer. The bedtime prayer is in the book, Waking Up in 5D, but we also have a printout of it for you if you want to stop by our booth, which is at the lower level. So who are we? We are the humans who are kind, loving, and trusting. The troublemakers intended to take over the planet. We have recognized their agenda, and it has failed. And you are going to see more and more of that as time goes on. So the top dogs of those who would have you fail, you notice I don't use the names that everybody else uses, because even saying their name gives them some kind of power, and I'm not interested in giving them power. So I just say those who would have us fail. But they have underdogs. They're underlings, if you will. And those guys are now trying to fill the void, but it'll collapse. And they will take some people with them. This also means that there's spiritual teachers out there who might have entities in them that are giving you good information, and you think that they're all right. But this is why you need to develop your higher self connection. And we have a free instruction on that, also at my booth. And the higher self connection process, we may do today, I don't know, there's a couple of things I want to do, depending upon our availability of time. What I will say to you is, when you have an accurate higher self connection, and we do teach you 100% accurate higher self connection, that will allow you to determine who to study with, who to work with, And back in Chichen Itza in 2012, at the activation that occurred, I was told to tell people this, that there were false teachers, and that you might not know them because they're going to give a lot of good information. Maybe you've heard the term loss leader that the grocery stores do. They put your favorite brand of potato chips on sale for half price, and that gets you in the store, and then you buy a whole bunch of other stuff at full price. Okay, so how is that related to what I'm talking about? A teacher that may be channeling from a dark energy might not even know they're doing that. And they give you a lot of good stuff, but then they slip in something dark. So it isn't just a matter of judging the person, it's a matter of judging the content. So you might be told, study with this teacher, learn this material. And then after you've learned it, you'll be told, okay, there's 7 items here, number 5 is not true. You still got 6 good pieces of information. So it forces me to step out of judgment, doesn't it? And allow ourselves to learn and grow. And then if something isn't quite right, you don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just kick out that one piece that's not a match for what you know. Okay. So here's another piece of information that may be helpful to you. There are 3 Earths. And I was told this, I don't know, way back in 95, 96, something like that. And the 3 Earths have a trajectory. We're on this Earth, this lovely little heart Earth. The 2 Earths that I will talk about for the first of this is they're in competing timelines. One is a crash and burn Earth, and one is a do-over Earth. And I recently saw a video of a woman, not of the woman, but a woman took of the sky, and she could see 2 distinct colors, 2 distinct lines in the sky. And she said, it looks like I'm looking at 2 different realities. I can send that link to anyone who sends me an email. You can send it to Kat at Maureen St. Germain Mystery School. Now, where are we? We're on the ascending Earth. What I want you to understand is you will be permitted to participate in the do-over Earth. Who's on the do-over Earth? The do-over Earth is those people who have a good heart. They may be somewhat spiritually aware, but they haven't understood the bigger picture. They could even be people who are on what I would call fundamentalist paths in their religious belief system, and that limits their ability to grow and expand. So why do they have to do over? Because they have to learn that they are the source of everything in their universe, and they are co-creating, just like you already know that. They could be your relatives who worry about you because you believe certain things. Good people, but haven't understood that our ascension isn't leaving the body. It is becoming ascended masters in a perfected earth. And when you grok that, it's mind-boggling to discover and remember, because it is a remembering that you are an ascended master on the earth, and you are remembering who you are. So the ascending earth is moving into a place where all the stuff we have done, either by participating in the big corporations or inadvertently, that's all gonna just disappear. It's gonna cease to exist. I like to put fireworks with the ascending earth. I got a new video for fireworks. I can put that in there. So I have 2 things that I can teach you. The first thing I want to teach you is the J seals clearing, which I'm going to talk about it. And the second thing I would like to teach you is how to get set up to do your higher self practice. So I'll start with the J seals. The JCOs were brought to my attention by another teacher, and one of the things I want to say about this is when I channeled this, and I'll get into this in a minute, the guides were pretty clear that most humans have been adversely impacted by the JCOs. Not everyone, though. Okay? So here we go. First, I'm going to talk to you about Archangel Michael. And we do clearing work every day. And I was thinking this morning we should have brought your sword. Look at it. Started clearing people here. This is a wonderful prayer. I would encourage you to take a picture of this if you want. We use this prayer, and then we use a knife around the body to cut away any and all entities, energies, or hooks and drains, all kinds of stuff. All my students in the Ascension Institute, they all have it on their phone, and they all have swords or knives or something. And we travel with them so that we can act. Because when you're on a plane or interacting with people, you will pick up entities. And you don't look at it, oh, now I have the cooties. Instead, look at it and say, that being was lost and they came into me because they want to find their way back home to God, and they know I will do something about it. All right. So we start out with that. So let's just say this. I like to use the commanding voice, and what I'm going to ask you to do is say it with me, just for yourself, for the moment, and we'll just imagine Archangel Michael and his sword of blue lightning to cut through this room and this field. This is your setup for what we're going to do next. I call in Archangel Michael. With me, please. I call in Archangel Michael with his nets of blue lightning to clear away any and all entities, energies, or anything that I can clear at this time that is not of 100% God light, and move to a place of evolution or dissolution. I further invoke the presence of the Elohim of the Golden Ray to assist me in releasing and disconnecting from any and all attachments to these entities or energies that are not of 100% God light. Okay, so this information originally came through Debbie Rose, and then it was brought to my attention, and that's why I'm teaching this information, because I was given further information, and I believe this is an accurate piece of information. These seals were created by the race called the Jehovah Anunnaki, and basically the J seals were set to activate at a certain point from the year 2000 to 2008. And when they were activated, they created a lot of problems on the earth and in every energetic human anatomy since then, since we're connected to the earth and we share the energetic structure, just as if someone was poking holes in our earth. They're poking holes in every person and their aura on the planet. So according to the record keepers, they said the seals are real, and the ideal is to clear them. This is valuable and important. First you acknowledge them, and then you announce the following prayer. I haven't gotten to the prayer yet. Due to the distortions on Earth's planetary grid, these distortions impact your DNA, they impact your ascension process, they impact your meditations, and they literally slow you down or stop you. So when we remove the seals, they can magnify all your work, because now you will have replaced the seals that were meant to stop you with a new energetic that will actually enhance. So some people do bypass this programming. I don't know why, so it isn't universal. But you can clear them. If you don't have them and you do these prayers, it won't hurt anything, and you don't have to check in. So what Debbie Rose channeled was this body would not die, but turn into light or less dense form when we were ready to send. You've heard of sages and mystics who have done this. Now I have to tell you, it was more than 30 years ago when some guy who was interviewing me for a magazine said to me, well, let's fast forward to your death. What does your tombstone say? And without even thinking, out of my mouth came the words, we never found her body. It wasn't a plane, it wasn't a train. We don't know what happened. She just disappeared. And I thought, whoa, that's so cool. I don't have to I'm just gonna, move into dust like the yogis do. And at that time, I didn't even know that yogis did that. So it was pretty amazing that it came through me. I wrote a little poem about it, and it's somewhere in my possession. If you guys find it after I die, you can put it on my tombstone. So the original angelic human DNA 12-strand template is called the Diamond Sun. And we are going to activate the Diamond Sun at the end after we clear this other stuff. So the first thing I want to do is tell you that everyone has secret ray chakras. And I have not taught about this, but I am teaching about this in some of my classes. And the secret ray chakras are the center of your palms, and the soles of your feet in the center, and then the spleen. The spleen is the entry point of the energy from the sun, from the great central sun. And so the spleen is the only chakra that has both an outpouring energy and a receptive energy. So the 5 secret ray chakras are projecting. All your other, or broadcasting, okay? All your other chakras are receiving, like a radio receiver. Your 5 secret ray chakras are like your speakers, your boombox, like that. Now, one of the ways to activate your secret ray chakras is to tap them. So you can tap them with your finger on the inside, or you can do this. If you're barefoot, you can tap your feet with your hand on right near the arch of your foot. But the center of your palm is fine. You're going to activate that because you won't be able to use the base of your feet for the things I'm going to do. I'm going to have you touch your crown and certain pieces of your body on the side, behind the knee, and then you're going to say the activation prayer. Okay, so you'll do this exercise 3 times. That means you're going to have to go out to YouTube if you want to do this and repeat the exercise, because we're only going to do it once, okay? And you can repeat it with me later. There is another way to get this activation information, that is to join my monthly membership program. And the first month is free, and it's only $11, so it might be worthwhile if you like this work. Okay, here we go. You're going to say this out loud each time. And so let's just do it for practice right now. I am a sovereign being. The divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear each one of these seals one by one. Okay, so Abs, could you come up and stand in the middle so people can, actually a little bit to the right so you can see. And he's going to demonstrate, and you're to copy him. I'm going to be holding the mic so I can't do it all. Okay. Clearing seal number 1. Wait a minute, did I show the seals?
Yeah.
I did, okay, good. All right, so you're going to top of the skull on the left side, so it's like here, okay? You've already tapped your secret ray chakras, and then it's activated, okay? Ready? I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear this seal 1. And you might even feel something move through your hand. Okay, seal 2. This is the heart, left lung, and back of the left knee. This is why I was laughing. I can't do it with both hands. So it's back of your left knee with your right hand. Or whatever hand, I don't care. You can use the other hand. Might be easier. And then your heart, okay? On the left side. All the J seals are on the left side. So if you've had a bunch of anomalies, lung problems on the left side, a hip problem on the left side, a knee problem on the left side, or left side headaches, guess what? It's the J seals. Okay, here we go, seal number 2. I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear, seal 2. Okay, wait a second. Next one. Seal 3 is the pineal gland. So you're back on the crown. And if you want to reignite these guys, just touch them lightly. Ready? I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear seal 3. Left side of the neck and the lymphatics, that would be a little bit high. Okay? And if you want to touch your chakra. Ready? I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I'm now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear seal 4. Next. Rear left thigh and buttock. So you got your hand really on the, just this line you have between the cheeks and the thigh. Okay? Right there. Okay, you can. Are you not going to stay there? Okay, fine then. Okay, here we go. I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear seal 5. Six. So this is where the skull rests at the base of the spine, kind of right below that bone. So again, tap your hand and put your hand up there. Ready? I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear seal 6. Okay, the aorta, artery right here. Again, tap your hand and put it in place. Ready? I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear seal 7. There's one more seal called the Zeta seal, and not everyone has this blockage, but it does remove blockages between 4th and 5th DNA strand. So we're going to clear it if you are wanting to do it. Some people have removed it by doing the evening prayer, the bedtime prayer. We have copies of that for you at my table. Okay, here we go. This, you don't have to hold anything, you're just going to say it with clarity. I am a sovereign being. I command the reconnection of all my DNA. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to clear the Zeta seal. Okay. You can sit down.
Can I ask a question
Not yet. We're not done with the ceremony.
about that?
Can you wait to finish the ceremony? Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Now, this is the disco ball example that I want you to understand. It is a sphere with mirrors all the way around, and I call it a disco ball because that's what I see. So you can even get a disco ball, on Amazon for a few bucks, and hang it in a central spot in your room, in your home, to amplify this energy. So we're calling in the disco ball of light. Here we go. I am a sovereign being. This divine spark in me empowers me to achieve my highest potential. I demand and command all energy portals here close and are sealed by the force of God's light, never to be opened again. I am now calling forth this divine spark in me to close and clear each and every one of these portals, one by one, instantly now. Now we move into the activation of the golden energy. So according to Debbie, she says that each of these closures, each of these J seals were to fall in line between certain age groups. So at age 4 to 6, then it would be the DNA strands 4 to 6. Age 22 to 33, it would be strands 7 to 9. And excuse me, between 33 and 44, the 10th through 12th. Now, each one of these correspond to something. The first one is your soul identity. Okay, that's the first one we're going to do. The second one we're going to do is your oversoul. What is your oversoul? Your oversoul is all the versions of you and the higher self. So you have a higher self, and the oversoul is above that. And then the last one is your Christos avatar self, and we're all becoming ascended masters, so we may as well open up that gate. Now, I know there's lots of people who will do DNA activations for you, but my guides have been very clear. You need to do it yourself. So my job is to teach you what you need to know so you can do it yourself, which is why we do this together. And I might be showing you the way, but you're still doing it. You know, when you hire a tennis pro to help you with your tennis game, you still have to hit the ball. Here we go. We're going to do each one of these 3 times. And we will do these 3 times just for the sake of anchoring the clearing work we did. Ready? Can you see it? No?
Yeah, that's the projector. Pardon me for a second. I need. See if I can focus.
What do I need to do? Oh, it's focus here. Okay. There we go. That's really good.
The bottom is still a little soft, but.
Okay. The bottom line says do each one 3 times. You don't have to know that. Okay. Ready? We're going to do each bullet point 3 times. Now, the first one, you want to look at the parentheses. This is your soul identity. So you're paying attention to that idea. Okay? Here we go. I now command my original angelic human DNA strands, numbers 4 to 6, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. I now command my original angelic human DNA strands, numbers 4 to 6, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on the planet. 3rd time. I now command my original human, angelic human DNA strands, numbers 4 to 6, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. So I'm going to stop and tell you, why do I ask you to do something 3 times? And the answer is there are 3 major gateways in you. Your mental body or mind, your heart or your emotions, and the spleen, your will. So what you are doing is engaging all your major centers by saying the same prayer 3 times. You're moving energetically into these spots that now amplify what you are doing. Okay, 2nd bullet point. Actually, it's not 2nd, but the one that's for 7 to 9. And this is your oversoul, all the versions of you. Ready? I now command my original angelic human DNA numbers 7 through 9 to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. Again, I now command my original angelic human DNA numbers 7 to 9 to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. I now command my original angelic 7 to 9, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. Third one, this is you becoming your ascended master self. So I want you to take a half a second and close your eyes and imagine what would you look like as an ascended master. Okay? I'll start with your hair. It's perfect. Your eyes, and people look at you, you absolutely glow. Your skin glows. Someone takes a picture of you, and sometimes they see that your body disappears into the background. And you feel good. Ready? I now command my original human DNA strand numbers 10 through 12 to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. I now command my original human DNA strands, numbers 10 through 12, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. Now command my original angelic human DNA strands, numbers 10 through 12, to be activated or reactivated as necessary for my highest evolution on this planet. Okay. These, you've just reactivated your Diamond Sun template. And if you want, you can go to Facebook where they're broadcasting and replay this. So now we have just a few minutes left. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about dimensional shifts. This is another 5D anomaly that is occurring right now. So if you're having trouble having meaning, I will tell you that you're trying to interpret something in a 3D way. So there are ways to get around that, which I'm going to show you. So you allow the meanings to float into you. It's very common to say, my jewelry is missing, somebody must have taken it. What if it's just managed to be set down when you were 5D, and now that you're desperately looking for it, you're back in 3D full of polarity. Okay? When you allow yourself to expand and to allow and move into a state of wonder, I wonder where my jewelry is. I wonder what's going on. Many people are happy with the systems that are very allowing, but they're not expanding. And some people are very expanding, but they're not allowing. You need both. So meditation is one way, and that is through the golden time. So I'm going to give you a link to this guided meditation where you can download it from my website for free. You show up, you're here, I'm happy to support you with a free meditation. The golden time is a guided meditation, and it is a tool that will anchor in your energy into the place where you may create a life filled with joy, happiness, and love. It is the great golden age we have always longed for, and we expect. This meditation helps you anchor in your energy so firmly that it is easy to stay there. And those people who have done this meditation, especially on a regular basis, have found that their pineal expands, their third eye opens up, and their sinuses open up. And we have sinus glands in the front, on the side, and in the back. And after I was given this information, I made up a story that said, and by the way, science does not know where, what all these glands do, okay? So I made up a story and said it's your satellite dish to call home. Okay, now you're going to need the link, which is on here, golden bowl -mm, uppercase, 2 uppercase M's. Now there was a question you wanted to ask, and I'd be happy to answer that.
You answered it why 3 times.
Isn't that funny? And you know, I can hear this stuff in the ethers. So that's how come I was able to answer your question. That's great.
Because I've always wondered to know, because it's a lot of times.
A lot of
they
people
say
do that, yeah.
differently, so like, why didn't the first time work?
Yeah, why did it work the first time? Because you're only mental. What good is that? It's good enough if you're a mental person, but it might not be good enough if you're, more balanced. Okay. When we allow ourselves to be very heart-centered, but narrow in our allowing or belief systems, we are creating a version of the future that limits our abilities. How do we create and receive so much more than we have been capable of? One of the tools is this new meditation called the Golden Time. Okay, so you have the link goldenbowl-mm. Okay, there are probably 50 reviews of this on my website because people were so blown away. All right, now I'm going to jump, and I'm down to like my last 4 minutes. Is that right? Is anybody watching the time? That's what my clock says. Okay, so I want to talk to you about